Hey, my moonbeams, welcome back to Cosmosis or Whatever with me, your host, Celia Marie 1243, the spirit guide whisperer, your fairy tarot sister. If you are ready to transform the way you view the world, if you're ready to grow and evolve as a soul, if you are ready to glow with authenticity, then you are in the right place, my friend. This week's episode, we are talking about spirit guides and their names. This actually came up as a topic while I was live on Instagram. So if you don't already follow me on my Moonglow Instagram, that's my business page. Make sure that you follow me. moonglow.guide, Guide is my name. I have kind of reclaimed my personal Instagram, so you can still follow me there, of course, but when it comes to all of our spiritual topics, so spirit guides, meditation, intuition, learning mediumship, I'll be talking about all of that on moonglow.guide, the business IG. So I'll be going live every Wednesday as well. I'm starting to kind of get my schedule together for social media. So I'm thinking podcast on Tuesdays. Hey, it's a Tuesday. Podcast on Tuesdays, live on Wednesdays on either Instagram or YouTube, and new YouTube video Thursday. I dropped a bunch of YouTube videos at the same time a while ago. So if you guys didn't watch those, go watch the YouTube videos too. There's a bunch that people are low-key sleeping on, like mistakes that I've made on my journey, more holistic productivity tips if you enjoyed that podcast episode, right? So, and if you're new to my content, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. I love to really set intentions about, bringing in people who can benefit from what I have to teach and the way that I teach. Not every spiritual teacher, healer, mentor is for you. So I always pray and set intentions that the people who resonate with me find me. So if you're here for a reason, and I am glad that you are. I'm appreciative of your energy and your trust. If you are interested in all of this, if connecting with your spirit guides is something that you are really wanting to do, like you're really serious about it, maybe it's one of your goals for 2024, even just like tapping into your psychic abilities or really taking your healing serious, be sure to listen to this whole episode because there will be a really good surprise at the end that I think will help y'all out. Okay, so back to this week's topic, spirit guide names. So I've definitely helped a bunch of people connect with their spirit guides, right? It's kind of my thing. That's why I'm the spirit guide whisperer. But a really common question that I get is, what is my spirit guide's name? Or, what names do my spirit guides have? So in my spirit guide whispering sessions, that's literally a session I have, it is spirit guide whispering sessions. Those sessions are designed to help you find certain spirit guides' names, possibly explain their appearance. And the biggest thing that I do is help you find out why they're a guide for you in that moment and kind of help you to develop that connection on your own. I love doing spirit guide messages, but I also love to teach people how to connect with them on your own because you're totally able to do that, right? So what can you do to find out your spirit guide's name? Ask. I mean, maybe that seems obvious, but I'm here to tell you it's simple enough. But I recommend asking your spirit guides, whatever way that you connect with them. And if you haven't connected with them yet, meditation is a great way. You can write it down in your journal if you're more of a writer, doing automatic writing or channeling, whatever works for you. Ask and you shall receive. You need to find the way that you are most receptive. This is always what I tell people when they are first, trying to get into their spiritual journey, connect with their spirit guides. What are your psychic abilities? What are they? Are you more of a sensor, clairsentient? Do you hear things? And a lot of us are going to have all of them. Keep that in mind, right? But what are you most receptive to? That's the way that I suggest that you try and connect in with them first. And a lot of times they will help you to develop the other ones. I have multiple YouTube videos on understanding what those abilities are for you. But the problem that people run into after they find out, what way they're receptive is actually trusting what they get. I can always help you to confirm, like I said, in a spirit guide whispering session. And I find those are really helpful because they help you to know you're not crazy. I feel like so many people, when they come to me, very first thing, and they're like, I've never gotten a reading, but I'm pretty sure I'm crazy. And it is my pleasure, my honor to be able to tell you guys you're not crazy, that I've literally worked with hundreds of people like you. I'm like you. And it's nice to get that confirmation from someone else. And like I said earlier, if that sounds like something that you are resonating with in this moment, I would definitely listen to the end, okay? But if you are listening to this, at least try yourself before booking your spirit guide whispering session with me, okay? Do a good meditation. Use your mindful meditation journal, your mindful journey meditation journal. Shameless plug for my meditation journal. It's available on Amazon. If you type in Celia Marie 1243, it'll pop up. That meditation journal will help you, especially my beginners or people who are really trying to get something specific out of meditation and understand how to get better at meditation. That journal is going to be really helpful. Maybe we'll talk about that more later. But because that's right. Writing down things is really a very good tip. I'm pretty sure I covered that in my tips for meditation. Writing things down so that the answers aren't always going to make sense right away. So writing things down is very important, and that journal will also help you to kind of keep track of other things that are going on, like what tools you use, what the moon phase is, stuff like that. I do recommend that you ask one spirit guide at a time what their name is, unless you are, very familiar with your spirit guides, in which case you probably, might not need any of this information anyway. But, if you need help confirming what you get afterwards, like I said, I got you, but I really, really want you to try on your own first. Give it a couple days at least, and then I will even be able to tell you if you miss something from your spirit guides, or maybe even if you misinterpreted something. That happens a lot. So all of the info to book your spirit guide whispering session is in the description as usual, but be sure to listen to the rest of the episode before you go asking, because there's other important things to know about names. So this, for example, keep in mind, right? This is a spirit guide you're asking about. It's not a human. Okay, it's not one of your little human friends. I broke down the 8 types of spirit guides that you can have. So if you don't know what types of spirit guides there are, that might be helpful for you to listen to in another podcast episode called Who Are Your Spirit Guides? Keep in mind though, my moonbeams, not all spirit guides are going to even have names. Some of your spirit guides have never even been in a human body, or a body at all, where they would have had a name that it was spoken out loud. Your spirit guides can literally be a plant or an animal or a star or an orb of light. Okay, wrap your brain around that. Crazy, right? Wrap your third eye around that, should I say. My third eye is literally throbbing as I'm saying all of this. A lot of your way higher frequency beings and spirit guides, they do not even exchange words as much as just vibes. That's why it's so important to really get into that feeling space. We are always talking about that in development circle. The development circles I hold, I'm always talking about getting into that feeling space. Because it's not always about what you see or what you hear. A lot of those guides in those higher frequency planets and stars, they felt each other's energy more than connecting through words, if that makes sense, okay? Like us as humans, we want to give everything a name. Everyone, everything, we want to give it a name. We want to label things, but your spirit guides might not have one. A lot of your high frequency spirit guides, like I said, I've met a lot of them and they think that humans can be really odd. They kind of look at us like, why are you doing that or thinking that? And that we focus on the strangest things, like naming things. A lot of them don't mind though if we give them names, and that can be helpful to give them a name because it kind of helps your human brain wrap your mind around them being real, if that makes sense. And I think as you kind of go along on your journey, it won't be as important, but I have some big tips that will help you to kind of understand their names and why they're there for you. So one of the super high frequency guides that I've connected with on my journey is Light Being Carl. So some of you guys know Light Being Carl. Some of you guys were actually there when I connected with him for the first time years ago on a live, which is crazy to say. So shout out to my OGs if y'all are listening to this. I love y'all. I mean, I love all of you guys, but especially my OGs who have been there since the very early days and have supported me and been rocking with me. Super appreciate you guys. But Light Being Carl is a spirit guide from Arcturus, which is a star in the Boötes constellation. And I've had a past life on that star as a teacher. So that life is very connected to this life for me. Obviously, I'm a teacher, spiritual mentor in this lifetime. So when I asked him his name, the first thing that came to me intuitively was Carl. And I'm not going to lie, it felt kind of odd. Like he was supposed to have some other name in some other language, like light language, or, you know, it took me a minute to kind of really tune into what that name was. I mean, you know, this guide, as with all Arcturians that I've seen, he has blue skin. It's kind of like slimyish, almost like frog-like skin, big dark eyes, and he was floating. And he wasn't moving his mouth because when he speaks telepathically. So I wasn't really expecting Carl, but I also just trusted it, which is another big tip when it comes to using your intuition and connecting with spirit guides. You have to be able to trust. That is one of the biggest blocks that I see. Trust that if it truly feels right, tune into your heart chakra, tune into your feeling, your gut. If it feels right, that it is, even if it doesn't make sense in your, ego, in your mind, if there's no outside material proof of it, just trust it. Write it down, trust it. It takes practice and it's something that I can help you with, like I said, but if you're not willing to work on it, there's going to be no point, right? So I started to call him Alien Carl for a little bit, but then he told me he didn't like the term alien and he preferred light being, which I was like, okay, fair. Thus the name Light Being Carl was born. So later in spending time with him, and that's another big tip, spend time with your spirit guides. Just like you get to know anybody else, spend time, intentional time. Light a candle, do whatever you do to kind of, get in the mood. It's almost like a date, low key. You're trying to sit there and get to know somebody. Set a mood, set a vibe. Give yourself some things to do together to get to know each other. That was like a download. Maybe that's something that I should put together as like a video or like an ebook thing, like how to date your spirit guides, like not literally date. I don't know if you guys think that's a good idea. Go comment on either here on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify, or if you could please go comment on my live post that I did recently on the Moonglow Live if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, because yeah, that felt like a download for sure. Okay. But yeah, so getting to know spirit guide, Light Being Carl. I asked him his name. He told me, Carl, but I asked him, I'm like, is that actually your name? Because I still had that sense that, I don't know, it feels off. Like it feels like it, but not quite. So I asked him if his name was actually Carl. He said, no, that's just his energy, which is really kind of a dope concept if you think about it, because everything is energy, right? Here I go getting woo-woo, but I mean, you're here for that, right? It's just his energy. Like everything is energy. You're listening to this, and you and we are both very unique energies. And so it just so happens that on Earth, we give names to things that have a certain frequency, a certain vibration, instead of just feeling them. Carl is just the representation of his energy to me at that time. Is that kind of like, are you guys understanding that? Is your third eye like popping at that? Okay, like Carl, the name Carl is just the representation of his energy to me at that time. Okay, that definition of Carl, it called me to kind of look up what his name even meant. And like, he encouraged it. He was telling me, he was like, yes, good. Like, I got that feeling in my gut that he was approving of that and wanting me to do that. So another tip, if a spirit guide ever gives you a name and, they give you a name or one maybe comes to mind, look it up. Find its origins, especially in the oldest languages like Greek, Latin. Pay attention to the origins of it. That might tell you something about that spirit guide. Because I ended up finding out that the name Carl meant free man. And that kind of resonated. I was like, okay, free man, whatever. But it also had connections, the more research that I did, to being poor. And that didn't make sense, but I still kind of felt like I was on the right track, if that makes sense. So developing a strong sense of intuition and learning how to trust your intuition are so important on this journey, you guys. You cannot connect with your spirit guides without it. So, sorry, I don't know if you heard my stomach growling. I need to go eat. I have chia pudding waiting for me. But I kept looking, right? I kept poking around with Light Being Carl's, approval and guidance. That's what they do. They guide. They don't give us answers. They guide. So I'm poking around to see what resonated. And, it won't always be the first thing that you find. I found something else that kind of confirmed the same free man thing, but it added in that the name had evolved over time into the name of high status. It went from being like a poor man's name to a very rich man's name, a king. And immediately the feeling that I got, my intuition told me that it was kind of like the journey of ascension. And it all kind of clicked together in that moment. Essentially, Light Being Carl was there to help me ascend, which seems really obvious looking back on it now. But in the moment, it really clicked and it really made a lot of sense. And it felt so right. And I remember feeling his energy, and he was so proud. And he had this kind of stoic look, like he never smiled. But if he ever did smile, I feel like he would have been smiling in that moment. Like I could feel it. Right? Very similar with my higher self. That story, when I met my higher self, when I looked up the name that she gave me, it made so much sense for the part of my life that I was in. Okay? So speaking of that, right, it's important to note that your spirit guides' names may also change, just like their appearance. Your spirit guides aren't like us. Well, I mean, in a way that is like us, right? We might change our names. We might change our appearances. And I believe I talked about this on the Who Are Your Spirit Guides episode as well, but I'll say it again. Do not get super attached to how your spirit guides might look if you can see them, or their names, if you know their names, if they have a name, because that can all change and evolve as you do. This journey is full of twists and turns and evolutions, as it should be. Like, I kind of didn't really like that. Like, I don't know. I felt a way about it when I first found out that, they change. But it is actually comforting to know that our guides' purpose in our life and how they present to us, either through a name, the way they look, that it changes with us and grows with us. Even sometimes our guides will change out based on our needs, right? Good things to know about your spirit guides. If you've made it this far in the episode, you were absolutely meant to. Okay, like I've been saying the whole episode, I have a treat for you. I have a discount code for your spirit guide whispering session. Like I said, those are the sessions where I offer tuning into your spirit guides, and I will literally sit with you for the whole 45-minute session, help you learn what your abilities are. You can ask whatever questions you want about how to connect with your spirit guides, what we need to know about your spirit guides. We will go over what abilities you have the strongest if you don't know, or I can help confirm those. I can help you connect in with your spirit guides and learn how to do it on your own. So we'll usually practice connecting with them right there in this session. If you're at that point in your journey, I can help guide you along. Like I said, these sessions really help people to feel like they're not crazy. So if you feel like you've been going a little nuts, and you need somebody to confirm, like, you're not crazy, I'm seeing the same things, I'm hearing the same things as you, I can definitely do that. You're not crazy. Confirmation can be very comforting to have, and it can boost your intuition. It can help you to trust yourself and your connection with your spirit guides. So if that sounds like something that you need in your life, at least give it a few days, like I said, to figure some things out yourself. And then I would love to help you connect with your guides. I rarely give out discount codes unless it's to my patrons. Shout out to the patrons. Hey. But I really feel like this type of session could help those who are struggling to connect and just need some guidance and reassurance to build their confidence. I've been doing a lot of these sessions. I actually have one in about an hour. So you can use the code, 2222. I just saw 2222, so that could be a confirmation for somebody. But use the code Cosmosis, so that's capital COSMOSIS. You can use Cosmosis at checkout for a spirit guide whispering session to get 10% off. Okay, I will leave this code open for 7 people. So that's going to be first come, first serve. If it doesn't work at checkout, that probably means that they've been booked up. Keep in mind, if money is an issue, which when it comes to spirit guide things, money is only an issue if you make it an issue, because you can ask your spirit guides to help you. If you are serious and sincere about doing healing work, about whatever you learn in your tarot readings, your healing sessions, past life readings, your spirit guides are going to help you get that money. I have a special technique that I use to help people if they struggle with money. And if you guys want to hear that, let me know too. But yeah, that spot is open. That code is open for 7 people. So I'm really excited to work with you guys. I feel like there have been so many brand new people who I can really help realize some things and really connect to their guides. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that this was helpful. Blessings to you for your week. Like I said, I'm excited to help you guys connect with your spirit team. I will see you soon. Bye.